In the Body Life Skills program, the third step is based on teaching people skills to be able to respond to the parts of life that they did not feel completely equipped to respond to. But when we're teaching skills, it's paramount that we set the person up for success. Because a lot of the time we offer the skills, we teach the person the skills, but we've not done it in a way that's supportive of that individual. So we can say we've ticked the box, we can say we've taught the skills, but if we haven't taught using that person's strengths and taught the skills in that person's timing and schedule, then it's actually not going to work. So what do I mean by that? If we're talking about skills, the way I understand skills is they're on a 30 centimetre ruler. So this is our start, which we might call 0 centimetres. And over here is when the skill is completely self-mastered. Yeah. And so we call that person's 30 centimetres. But to get from 0 to 30, we can't go in just one step. Yeah, it's too big of a step and it sets people up for failure to do so. But what we understand on a ruler to get from 0 to 30 is that there's a step-by-step process to be able to get there. Now, when we're setting a person up for success, our job as the teacher is to make sure that the next step we offer a person is a step that takes them no higher than code yellow on the behaviour scale. Because if we offer a step that's too big for that person, it's going to take them to orange or to red, and they'll often choose to stay back here, choose not to try, choose to fail. But again, comparison is something we need to address here. Because we might have a person who's capable of taking steps that might be this big. But we might have another person who's still equally keen to leave 0, to start developing the skills that are required and to go on their step-by-step process. But they need to go at smaller steps. Not as a judgment, not as a comparison, because all that's required is that people are leaving 0. So when we're a teacher, our role is to observe the person and say what size step is required for that person so we can set them up for success. So we can set them up for being willing to move along here rather than leaving themselves at leaving themselves at 0 centimetres. On top of that, when we're teaching people new skills, we also need to be aware that we actually celebrate each person's steps. For example, if we're at 0 centimetres and we've had a person take a step away, it's easy for us to look here and say, well, you're not there yet. And we judge or we criticise or we critique the person for not being where we know that they could otherwise be. But as soon as we critique, so as soon as we criticise the person for not being up here, we've almost guaranteed that the person will go back to 0 and sometimes even regress even further than that. So part of the Body Life Skills program when we're developing the skills is ensuring that the step that we offer a person takes them to yellow and no higher. When they self-master that step, then we go to the next step. Then when they've self-mastered that, we go to the next step. But along the way, we celebrate the success at each step. We offer the person the opportunity to connect to the steps that they've made, so their progression along to 30 centimetres is actually far quicker than if we were to critique and criticise their way along here.